yeah, One Deck 1 Month has officially returned to the channel, and I could not be more excited, and I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. It has been many months since we've done one of these episodes, and I've just been waiting eagerly to bring this series back. I didn't want to take it online, as you guys suggested. I could have very easily done that, though, but I really wanted to continue doing this series in the style that I've been doing it previously, in person and everything, and with real physical cards and whatnot. And speaking of cards, we are on the Earth Machine deck, if you couldn't tell already, and I think we're going to have a very strong month, and I don't want to jinx it, but I think this could possibly be our best month yet on this series. So, with all that out of the way, let's get into the newest episode of One Deck 1 Month. So welcome to Saturday, everybody. Local starts in about an hour and a half, and I'm just right now currently cleaning up the giant mess I just made filming that intro you guys just watched. And if you liked it, be sure to let me know down in the comments and by dropping a like on the video. These videos take a long time to put together, but it is currently just after 4 o'clock. Local starts at 6:30 promptly. I want to get there a little early because I do have some cards I am trying to sell. Possibly looking to move my Triple Tactics talents. As much as I don't want to, I really like the card, but I like Forbidden Droplet a little bit better. I like Ice Dragon's Prison, Pot of Prosperity, and selling those talents will definitely help me get my hands on those cards. I've got a handful of other cards that I'm trying to move as well. And I'm also in the process of probably trying to acquire a second camera for this series specifically. Because you guys know I do shoot a little footage at locals here and there, but it's not much, mainly just some B-roll sequences. And the main reason for that is I don't really have a good camera to film with in between rounds, because this camera I'm using is tied up being the feature match camera. This camera is fantastic. It's incredible, worth every penny I spent on it. But it's just too big for vlogging, and of course it's tied up in between rounds being the feature match camera. So looking to possibly grab a smaller, more compact vlogging style camera. And if you guys want to help me get that camera, consider checking out the ways you can support the channel down in the description. It would help out greatly because camera gear is not cheap. But the other thing I want to talk about is the deck list we're on, and I'll put a picture of it up here on the screen, just a dueling book screenshot. Pretty standard list here. We're on the double Daracrane. I decided I wouldn't try anything experimental today. I was going to try maybe a scrap recycler instead of the second Daracrane, or a second drill instead of the second Daracrane, but Daracrane's a good card, plain and simple. It can chain block and gives you access to rank 10s and removal. So all very good things in my book. So that's the list we're going with. We went 4-0 with it last week, so hopefully we can do the same. Oh yeah, the other change I made was dropping Beatrice for Blacklist or Soldier Link, because with Machina Fortress and all the big monsters we play, we should be able to tutor this card out without an issue if we need to. It can just steal games on its own, and the Beatrice just wasn't really coming up that much. And since I'm not siding Ariel, I just decided to take it out completely for another big link that we can make late game to possibly, switch things into our favor. So that's the list. I'm gonna get all this stuff cleaned up and pack up everything, and then I'm gonna make food, and then we're gonna head out. And when we get to locals, I actually have to give my friend some cards who's also gonna be playing this deck today, so we got to make sure we remember to grab those before we leave as well. And we also got this in the mail today too. Huge shout out to Cadillacs in my Discord for the hookup. Alright, so we are back from locals. Gonna do a quick tournament report. One thing I want to mention, I ideally would be able to talk about my matchups immediately after they happen at locals. I think that would work much better for this series. And then instead of doing a tournament report after I get back, I could just do like a recap and like, you know, changes I want to make going forward segment to keep things a little shorter, I guess. But I don't have a second camera to be able to do that yet. So something I will be able to do in the future, hopefully. Because I don't know, what would you guys prefer? Do you guys like seeing a full tournament report after? Or would you like seeing updates at locals immediately after games happen? My mind would probably be a bit more fresh to describe things that happened exactly. But just let me know what you guys think. But round one, I played against Cosmo. And yeah, one dedicated Cosmo player at the local still. And game one, he makes me go first. I think he's playing just like try to OTK. And I end on Knuckle, Fortress, IDP, and Overdrive. Pretty solid board. He does have a Kaiju for my Knuckle. And then he tries to Slumber me. I Ash the Slumber. And I almost said yes to it. And then I bothered to take a moment to look at my hand after what happened the previous week. And I was like, oh yeah, I have an Ash. I can just Ash that. And I went ahead and Ashed it. And then he had like an Allure or something. Got into like a Farm Girl play or something. And, or no, I think after that he just like tin canned and passed. And then he tagged into a Dark Lady. And then I followed up with Drill, which he let go through. Summoned Box. And then I used Drill to make them level 8 on the box. He negated that, brought Citadel back out. Because during that turn after he slumbered, he Dark Hold, and I chained Overdrive targeting Fortress to get Citadel out of the deck. It still got destroyed after the fact, but having it in my graveyard after the fact ended up being really helpful because of that Dark Lady negate. And then from there, Citadel just kind of controlled the game and went for an OTK later with Gustav and Lieb. And then game 2, I can't really remember too clearly, but there was a point where he had double Slip Rider on field and I had a Fortress and a Bullet. He killed the Fortress with one of the Slip Riders. I used it to pop one of the Slip Riders, Fortress's effect. He summoned into Wicked Witch, and then he killed my Bullet. And end phase, add back add back Harvester. And then I have the nastiest top deck of Heavy Forward. And the sequence, it was a really cool sequence. It was really just the sauce. Normal Harvester, add Trencher, play Heavy Forward, add Drill, and add a Fortress in my grave. So I pitched Drill and Trencher for Fortress, and then use Harvester target Fortress level 9, enter Blasthir, banish the Wicked Witch. And he's already down pretty low in life points at this point, so keep that in mind. I think he might have had like 3,300 or something, or like less than 4. I can't remember exactly, but he was low in life points. He was not at full. And then I used Trencher to bring back Drill. Link Drill to Goliath, Stormer send Goliath, attach Goliath, Stormer search Derek Crane, then link the Stormer and the Enter Blathnir for a Knuckle. The second Knuckle, having a second Knuckle, came up yet again, and had I not have had it, probably wouldn't have been able to close out that game at all that turn, to be totally honest. And that brings out the Bullet, summon Derek Crane, go into the Gustav Max, burn for 2k, and just go right into Lieb, make him go to 6. Not detaching Derek Crane here because I don't want to pop the Slip Rider. I just run over it and it's enough damage for a game. So yeah, that was round 1. Round 2, I played against Prank Kids. I played against my good friend Alex, who by the way has a YouTube channel called Large TCG. You guys should check it out. He was playing Prank Kids, and game 1, I think my opening hand was Overdrive, EMR, Derek Crane, Dozer, and a Trencher. So a completely unplayable hand. And I said to myself, you know what? There's always one. No matter what locals, like there's always going to be that one hand that I open that is just completely dead. And Prank Kids, I didn't know they could OTK, but with you know, Lampsies, you know, burning for 5, he put 7,500 on the board exactly with 2 of the Link 2s and a Weather Washer, I believe, with a field spell. And he just completely OTK'd me. I didn't side going into game 2. Because I didn't know siding Twin Twister against Prank Kids was so good. I know so many people are going to be like, oh, Winter. Just, you always got to side Twin against Prank Kids. The standby phase Twin against Prank Kids, as so many people told me after the fact, is literally can be a game ender. But I didn't side in because, you know, I'm thinking if I can keep his normal summon off the board, if I pull off normal combo, I'm good. And that kind of was what ends up happening. I make it a pretty solid play, but I think he had Nibiru, and then eventually he flipped up There Can Be Only One, and that's where I'm like, man, I really wish I had Twin Twister, but it's not like I didn't have an out within the deck. Like, I had EMR in the deck still, could have outed it easily. Fortress could have outed it, but eventually gets to the point where he has a Weather Washer and a Battle Butler on field, and I think I just have a Harvester, which I think he then clears. Then I'm able to bring back Fortress crash into Weather Washer for 5. Fortress pops Tikaboo, bring out Citadel run over Roxy's, and then I board wipe after with Citadel. I kind of make somewhat of a comeback, but he's able to burn me to actually for game, because I get down to like 500 and he just Lampsies burns me, and he wins that one fair and square. Nibiru hurt so much that matchup. Nibiru is so hard to recover from, and that's one of the specific reasons why I really like Fortress, because Fortress lets you play through Nibiru like no tomorrow. And speaking of playing through Nibiru, round 3, so right now we're 1-1. Round 3 I play against Dragonlink. Hey guys, Winter here from the future. I just want to get back to what I was talking about regarding Nibiru specifically, because I do go off on a little tangent and forget to talk about one important interaction that happened versus Dragonlink regarding Nibiru. Game 2, I did end up getting to go first. I did have normal combo, and at the end he did have Nibiru when all I really had left was a Knuckle on the field. But I did have a Fortress left in the graveyard, so I proceeded to summon that Fortress with the remaining cards I had in hand, and then I used Knuckle to send off the Fortress to summon him back to the field, and it basically made it like I never got Nibiru'd at all. So just an example of how Fortress can help you play through the rock. A deck I was not looking forward to play against, because it's a deck that I lost to not last weekend but the weekend before that. Same player. Game 1. Moral of the story, game 1, it took 20 minutes. I should have scooped way earlier. We were both just going back and forth, but I really didn't see a clear route to victory, and he just had plenty of resources. I should have just scooped way faster in game 1, and I did not, and I regret doing that. But then in game 2, I opened like double Lancia, some traps, and like the standard combo, and I was able to pull it off. Lancia slowed him down during that turn, and then I Lancia'd him again, slowed him down even more. The only problem is that I was met with a Nibiru, Drolls, and Ashes, so he was hitting me with just as much, interruption and floodgating as I was hitting him with. And I think I drew a Droll like later on in my combo, or later turn, but it just grinded out to the point where like he just had more resources on his field, more advantage, and he was just able to put up enough interruption to completely stop everything I have via Appaloosa, Boral Savage, and like other stuff like that. So Nibiru just proving to be a pain. Didn't see Ice Dragon's Prison in that matchup at all. Literally the only time I saw Ice Dragon's Prison the entire tournament, I believe, was round 1 against Cosmo, and I didn't even get to use it. So yeah, that's a quick tournament report. Now we're going to go ahead and go over the feature match. Okay, so in round 4, I actually ended up playing against a deck called Witchcrafters, which, I don't think the deck really does a whole lot currently, but it was interesting to play against. And you can see my opening hand here was not great. My set cards right now are both double Urgent Schedule, alongside 2 copies of Ghost Bell, and I think 1 other unsummonable machine monster. My opponent does have the Extravagance, sets a couple pass. I set a Ghost Bell on my turn, and pass it back to him. I see there are some Witchcrafter cards in the grave, because he did use the Foolish Burial Goods to send 1 there. And on my turn, after he passes again, I luckily find a Metal Cruncher to grab a Dozer, and since I decided to set that bell, I can still normal summon it, but he does have a Gamma for my Brutal Dozer, which is just fine, because those Urgent Schedules are going to come in very clutch here, summoning out Harvester and Fortress to get that 1-card Wombo combo. That's why I love the Urgent Schedule. It's just really nice to outplay through Gamma, especially. Not so much Nibiru, but very helpful to play against Gamma, because Gamma is a very high-impact hand trap, especially against this deck. And it can kind of act as like a pseudo-trap, if you will. So I am locked into... I don't think I was actually locked into Earths here, because the Dozer didn't resolve. So I decided to go for Brutal Dozer here just to clear more. He does have a copy of Cosmic to hit my other urgent schedule. Not such a big deal. He summons the Golem Aruru from his hand. Kind of asking what it does. Does nothing on the field, so I'm just pretty much clear to proceed through the normal combo here. Pick up a copy of Machina Redeployment, pitching Fortress, adding another Cruncher and a Overdrive, aka grab that Citadel. And I'm going to attack into his Aruru with the Earth Slicer to attach it to his material, set the Overdrive, end phase, Driver gets banished. And now my opponent just wanting to know what the cards I have do. Earth Slicer doing nothing currently, so he plays another, I think it's Witchcrafter Holiday. I can't remember exactly what these cards are called. Goes into Shemitah, uses its effect to summon out, I believe, Hain, which I think this is like the card that was like the only threat that I had to deal with the entire time. Is uses Shemitah's graveyard effect, and I think there he plays what is supposed to be the Monster Reborn for Witchcrafters, and I do hit it with a Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. But I believe Witchcrafter Hain can pitch a spell to pop a card in my field, so he goes ahead and targets the Earth Slicer, and I go ahead and chain Overdrive to summon out Cruncher, and I get Citadel, resolving Cruncher here, revealing double Derek and a Bullet. Have one of them go to my hand. I think I get the Derek Crane there, and really not a whole lot else he can do at this point. Hain is currently at 2,400, so if I want, I can Citadel, destroy it, and that is exactly what I do. My opponent has seen enough, and we're going to head into a game 2. So yeah, as you guys might expect, Witchcrafter probably going to have a bit of a tough matchup against this deck. He does use Shemitah's effect. I go to Ash since it does tribute itself off the board. I'm like, why not try to make him go minus? But he has the Gamma again. But it is what it is. So he goes Foolish Burial Good, sends another Witchcrafter spell, banishes Shemitah to get another effect, and I know that his graveyard is a little cut off. I try to tell people to line their mats up where they need to be, and sometimes they're not always in the correct position. So he end phase, gets by Street, and all the spells back to his hand, ending with a Hain. So as it stands, all I really have to worry about is a back row and one pop, and I'm going to start my turn with Twin Twister to clear both of his back row, pitching an Overdrive, and then following that up with a copy of Machina Metal Cruncher, revealing double Dozer and Fortress, because if I get the Fortress, I could do the rank 9 combo, so I might as well try to get it, since I have a redeployment in my hand anyways. So I'm going to grab Citadel and a copy of Fort there, pitching Fort and Citadel to summon itself back, go into Ancient Gearbox, and then go for the Fortress, or the Ballista, and then go for Enter Blathnir. Enter Blathnir is going to banish the last card out of his hand. Summon back Fortress, use for Dozer fodder, go for the River Stormer. As you can see here, we're just going through the standard combo, trying to see if I can draw into a level 10 to try to put game on board, because all I need to draw at this point is a Derek Crane, but I don't find it, so I just swing in with Ender Blathnir Knuckle, end phase, add back off Bullet. He tops the Monster Reborn for Witchcrafter, so he's not completely out of it yet. He tries to go to battle phase. I chain Knuckle to get Bullet out onto the field as kind of bait. He takes it. That allows me to get Citadel back, since a Earth Machine I control was destroyed. And then end phase, I get a card back. He gets his cards back off of Buy Street. In my turn, I use Citadel to clear the Hain. And now at this point, I'm just trying to completely establish game here. Now that he's got an open field, and I've got plenty of resources. Pick up a heavy forward off of that Overdrive, I think. Link for Harvester, or Harvester searches Trencher, Link for Goliath. And then I use Goliath to attach to Ender Blathnir, since I have heavy forward to attach to the River Stormer I brought back. That way I can get an extra material and protection on my Enter Blathnir. But we find our way up into a rank 10 and just go for game right there. And that ends up being the fourth and final round as we finish X2. Alright, so after yesterday's unfortunate X2 performance, I have decided to make some slight changes to the main deck regarding the trap lineup. Alright, so I am actually going to be adding Torrential Tribute and Phoenix Wing Wind Blast into the main deck in place of Ice Dragon's Prison and EMR. Now, I'm specifically cutting EMR from the main deck because there were a lot of times where that card was just dead, and it has the potential to be dead quite often because of how much setup it needs. If you get hit with a Nibiru, it can be completely dead. It makes bad hands worse, and it's a trap that just can't really function on its own whereas Torrential and Wing Blast definitely can. They don't require you to have any specific cards. You know, your opponent just needs to summon a monster, or a monster just needs to be summoned, period. Or Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, you know, you don't need to have a machine monster on the field with a certain amount of attack, right? Wing Blast is just a little bit more versatile. And I like Wing Blast a bit more than Dynamiscus strictly because it can send any card back to the top of their deck as opposed to just being face up like Dynamiscus reads. Yes, it can banish, but, you know, returning a card to the top of the deck is also pretty good in my book. Now, as for why am I cutting the Ice Dragon's Prison, you know, it's one of my best outs to Dragoon. Well, that's because I plan on replacing Ice Dragon's Prison with Forbidden Droplet as soon as I get my hands on a set. And I did sell those Lightning Storms last night for 190, so that will definitely help towards a set of droplets. Not quite there, but we're getting a lot closer. And I think once the droplets go into the main deck, I might cut the Go spells and play just 3 Ash as the only hand trap, maybe 3 Overdrive, 3 Wing Blast, and 3 Droplet. I'm not sure between Wing Blast and Torrential which one's going to make it in, but I think 6 traps plus Droplet in the main is going to be more than enough. But I might even go to 43 and play 3 Wing Blast and 3 Torrential and Overdrive and Droplet, because I think the deck actually runs quite decent at 43 cards. Maybe it's just me, or I'm a little crazy. I don't know what it is, but I feel like the deck has run better at 43 than it has 40. But yeah, that is going to do it. I'll put a picture of what the deck list is going to look like going forward into the next week. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this new episode of One Deck One Month. If you're excited about it being back, let me know down in the comments. And of course, don't forget to check out the ways that you guys can support the channel down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you're having a good one. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. As always, Murderkill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And last but not least, a special thanks goes to all of the channel members supporting this channel, and a special thanks to our Divine Level channel members. There's Zor's, Chadlax84, and Remtrox H. Thank you guys so much for your continued and very generous support of the channel.